Hey there, Brittany here. Before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to let you know about a special online mini training that I'm offering for free for a limited time. It's called Peace, Love, Stepmom. And not to toot my own horn, but beep beep, it's pretty freaking awesome. Peace, Love, Stepmom will give you the exact steps to take in order to create more harmony in your stepfamily without feeling like you have to walk on eggshells or bite your tongue or ignore your own needs just to keep the peace. Because if you are listening to this, then chances are pretty good that you know there's a big difference between not fighting and actually feeling peaceful. To enroll in Peace, Love, Stepmom and get immediate access to this incredible online course, head to peacelovestepmom.com and sign up. It's totally free. You don't want to miss it. So go to peacelovestepmom.com to enroll and get immediate access. Now, on with the show. Where would you take your life if you knew you could not fail? I get it. As a stepmom, mom, and entrepreneur, sometimes it can feel like what everyone else expects of you versus what you dream about for yourself are on opposite ends of the spectrum. As a woman, you're taught from a very young age what society thinks you're worth based on how you look, how you behave, and how much money you're allowed to bring in. But I'm here to show you that you can be the woman who has it all, and not just on the outside. I'm Brittany Lynch, and you are the queen of your castle. Welcome to another episode of the Queen of Your Castle podcast. I'm your host, Brittany Lynch. If you are new to the show, then welcome. If you are a ride or die, then hello again, old friend. Today is an amazing day. Let me tell you why today is an amazing day. Today is an amazing day because it is the first day that enrollment for your stepmom story is open. At least if you're listening on the Monday, that is. So enrollment is only open until the end of the week. 4 days, actually. And then I am not enrolling for at least 6 months. So if you've been on the fence about enrolling or you're waiting for a sign to join, then this is your sign. We've already had some pretty amazing, incredible women join the sisterhood. People are excited. I'm feeling blessed and grateful and humbled to be able to lead the most amazing women on this planet, I'm pretty sure, on this really incredible, intense, transformative journey. Now, you may already know that over the last couple of weeks, I've been hosting a free 3-part live workshop series called the Uplifted Stepmom 2.0. That's right. If you've done Uplifted Stepmom before, the challenge, it's been revamped. It's new. It's improved. Uplifted Stepmom 2.0. It was pretty awesome. And throughout each of the workshops in this 3-part series, stepmoms from all over the world have been participating in discovering the 3 core ingredients needed to peacefully blend a stepfamily. So if you've not gone through the series, do you like my sound effects? Because I do. If you've not gone through the series, then I'm going to urge you to get into our Facebook group, go through the free series, because it's no longer going to be available by about this time next week. So yes, the Uplifted series is free for right now. It's available to watch in our Facebook group, and you do not want to miss it. You just don't. If you're listening to this show, you do not want to miss the Uplifted Stepmom 3-part series. It's awesome. Our participants in the series have had some really cool breakthroughs and some really cool growth. And like, I can't even put into words what it feels like to be me in my body when I see stepmoms sort of shedding that old skin of just feeling trapped and hurt and angry and forgotten about. You know, that skin, that old, forgotten, trapped, hurt, angry skin. Probably everyone listening to this show has worn that skin at some point. Do you like the visual? I hope you like the visual. Now, in one part of the Uplifted series, I guided our participants to begin to see the world through a lens of possibility. That's what we're going to be talking about today. A lens of possibility. Seeing your life through a lens of possibility. Now, what do I mean by that? What do I mean by seeing your life through a lens of possibility? Are you sick of me saying possibility yet? I've just said it about 1,000 times in 4 seconds. Well, to get the full effect of the possibility, the full possibility lesson, then go ahead and jump on into that Uplifted 2.0 training so that you can really benefit from all of it. But essentially what I mean by a lens of possibility is this. Something I've noticed over the years is that a lot of stepmoms sort of find themselves getting to the place where they almost feel stuck. They almost feel like there's no choices left. Maybe you can relate to that. I personally can really deeply remember having that feeling. Like I'm basically at the mercy of my husband and his ex-wife and their kid. And it doesn't matter what I say or what I do because at the end of the day, all of my choices have been taken away from me. I don't get a say in where we live. I don't get a say in when we go on vacation because we're always at the mercy of this bloody custody schedule. I don't get a say in where our money goes because this huge chunk goes to the ex and she doesn't spend it the way I think is right. I don't get a say in things like what kind of food even gets brought into the house because there's stuff my stepson eats that gets brought in, gets bought. And I hate the fact it's in my pantry, in my fridge, in my freezer. But alas, here I am with no say, with no choices. So if you know what I'm talking about, you might also know what I mean when I say eventually it can start to feel sort of like you also have no choices in other areas of your life. Like I remember getting to a point before I started getting stepmom help. I remember getting to a point where I felt really trapped in my career as a nurse. Like I never wanted to be a nurse, period. And I couldn't bear to think that I was going to be making like $50 an hour or less for the rest of my life. I couldn't bear to think I was going to be ordered around and told what to do by somebody else or lots of other people for the rest of my life and trapped in this bureaucracy and trapped in this like super antiquated system that the healthcare system is. But it was a common theme in my life that back then I felt like I had no choices. I really felt trapped in a lot of areas in my family, in my career, in my health, in my everything. And so in my life at that time, I didn't see anything from a perspective of possibility. In my life at that time, everything was fixed. Everything was predetermined by other people. And to make matters worse, I invalidated the way that I felt by saying things like, you should be grateful to have a man who loves you. You should be grateful to even have a job that pays $50 an hour. You should be grateful to even have a house like this because the apartment you grew up in could fit on the main floor of the house you live in now. And so rather than actually attuning to and listening to that nagging inside of me, that nagging that was telling me there was more to life than I was settling for. That nagging that was telling me I had way more power than I wanted to admit that I actually had. You know what? That's actually like the funniest thing. You're so powerful. You are so powerful that when you tell yourself that you are not powerful, you make that so. Words are wands. Words are wands, magic wands. What you say is so is so. And you, wherever you are right now listening to this, you are so effing powerful that if you've ever said to yourself, I'm stuck in this situation, then you would absolutely be right because you talked yourself into the stuckness. And like, I don't know about you, but eventually that nagging inside of me just got louder and louder and louder. And I felt like I was genuinely going insane because instead of acknowledging the fact that I wasn't happy with the way things were and that I was going to have to step outside of my comfort zone to find the happiness and peace and fulfillment and purpose that I knew deep down was missing, I shushed this intuition, this nagging intuition. I shushed it by dismissing myself and saying things to myself like, you should be grateful for what you have. How dare you feel that way? Something I'm so grateful that I've learned to do. Let me just clarify this gratitude piece here. I'm not saying that I'm not grateful for what I have. And so something that I'm grateful to have learned how to do is to be grateful for what I have without dismissing myself, without invalidating myself. So what do I mean by that? Okay. So in fact, gratitude is the very, very, very reason that I have everything in my life that I do have today. But it's because of that gratitude. It's because of the self-love and the self-worth that I've developed through gratitude, because of the mindfulness that is central to who I am now, because of all those principles that I've invited into my life, that I know to the core of my being, there's nothing in life that I can't have. It's because of the gratitude that I have, and not the dismissive gratitude, but the actual gratitude that I have, that I won't settle anywhere in my life or just resign myself to the fact that this is just the way it is. It is what it is. You're stuck here. Now, like I started saying at the beginning of the episode, an ingredient to a happily blended family is to begin to see your life through the lens of possibility. Because for as long as you believe, I have no choices in my stepfamily, everyone else is making all these choices for me and I'm just along for the ride. Nobody considers me and my feelings. I'm stuck here. I'm stuck in this house. I'm stuck in this city. I'm stuck in this relationship. I'm stuck in this job. I'm stuck in this life. For as long as the story that you're telling yourself is that you're stuck, then that's exactly what you will and have been and will continue to do, continue to speak into existence. You are speaking your life into existence. For as long as you invalidate your feelings and make yourself wrong for feeling the way that you do, and are ignoring what your brilliant body is telling you with the language of emotions. Like if we ignored our spouses the way most of us ignore the messages our bodies send us via our emotions, if we ignored our spouses that way, we'd probably all be single. But yet here we are ignoring our bodies and our emotions every single day. If you believe instead of stuck, instead of no choice, instead of I'm wrong for feeling this way, if you instead learn to see life through a lens of possibility, if you instead train your mind to see that in fact, there are a million ways to make $1 million. There are a million ways to improve stepfamily life. There are a million ways to improve romantic relationships. There are a million ways to hear your intuition and listen to the language of your body, better known as your emotions. There are a million people in the world who want to be your friend. I'm one of them. I want to be your friend. There are a million ideas in your head about how to make your life, your family's life, and the world a better place to exist in. There are a million opportunities to heal the hurt in your life. And all of those million ways to improve every area of your life first have to begin with you believing that anything is possible. Anything is possible. I know it sounds like such a corny, like motivational poster that you'd see hung up in a cubicle somewhere with like sun faded picture and like ripped corners and up with like sticky tack. Do they still make that stuff? Is that what it's called? That blue stuff, sticky tack? Anyway, it's true though. Anything is possible. It's so gosh darn true. Like I used to believe I would never make more than $50 an hour. And now I charge $500 for an hour of my private time. And I'm still working through my own limiting beliefs about that because I know that my time is worth more than even that. I used to believe I would need a bottle of wine to survive a weekend with my stepson. I used to believe I was so powerless to change anything about my life that the only way I could cope was to numb out from it. And now I don't even drink alcohol anymore. I used to believe that everything about my life would be dictated by another woman. That no matter what I wanted in my life, it didn't matter because she would always have her way and I was just an afterthought. Now, couldn't be further from my belief system. And it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart that so many people cannot or choose not to see life through a lens of possibility. Just because somebody else somewhere along the way told them something like what they want isn't possible. Some of these other stepmom groups that just repeat over and over and over and over that life is just hard when you're a stepmom and that's just the way that it is. Some people who are like disgruntled employees who've been programmed to believe that all you are is a cog in the wheel who pays taxes until you die and there's no choice in the matter. It's just what you do. And be grateful you at least have a job. Not to mention some of the baloney our parents taught us because they were doing the best that they could and trying to keep us from making mistakes that they made in their own lives. But all they did by teaching us things sometimes was instill fear in us in a lot of ways and teach us to doubt ourselves and our intuition in a lot of ways. And now we're instilling fear in our own kids and stepkids and teaching them to doubt themselves and their intuition because we've never stopped to question the crap that we hear every single day. We've never stopped to question these lies that we mistakenly believe are truths. And this is why inside your stepmom story, you like that? You like that? This is why inside your stepmom story, we take a look at all the stories you have running around in your head that prevent you from believing that you're not only deserving of an incredible life, but you're 1000 fucking % capable of creating it. This is why inside of your stepmom story, it's never going to get old for me. Inside your stepmom story, you get up close and personal with the thoughts that you think every single day. The thoughts that are responsible for the words that you say to yourself, about the people in your life. Like, do you know why? I'm actually asking you this. Do you know why you think the way that you do? Do you know why your mind operates the way that it does? I'll tell you right now, most people's thoughts, including mine, are entirely based in fear and they're entirely resistant to change, even when change is going to be amazing. And when you understand your mind, then you get to be in control of your life. The entire universe is literally conspiring in your favor. Everything is happening for you, not to you, for you. You know, when I was in the market to buy my first house, I had this limiting belief that I couldn't afford to buy a house. I had a limiting belief that I would be spending all this money on my down payment and then I wouldn't be able to afford the mortgage on my own. So I talked myself out of buying a house for a long time. But even before I knew about learning to see the world through a lens of possibility, I asked myself, how could I afford it? If I was going to afford it, how could I afford it? And that led me to a pretty easy conclusion that I was just going to get a roommate. So literally the day that I signed the papers that I closed on my house, before I even took possession, I put an ad on Kijiji, which if you're Canadian, you probably know what Kijiji is. If you're not Canadian, basically Kijiji is like an online classifieds page, like Craigslist, unless that's like the prostitute one, or is that back page? Anyway, it's not the prostitute one, but I think there's prostitutes on Kijiji, and sex work is work. That's a story for another day. Anyway, we're derailing this train here. I put an ad on Kijiji, which is an online classifieds page. So I put an ad on Kijiji for this roommate before I had possession of my house, because I was like freaking out. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to afford this. But instead of not buying the house, I was like, how can I afford it? So anyway, put an ad on Kijiji for a roommate before I had possession of my house, the second I signed these papers. And between the jigs and the reels, that roommate ended up becoming my best friend in the whole entire world, my soul sister, Danica. And because everything in life happens for you, not to you, for you, Danica, who lived in my basement, casually introduced me to mindfulness principles, like accidentally. It was just part of who she was. It was her that got me like dipping my toes into this new world of mindfulness. And it was her, this literal random stranger off an online classifieds page, who introduced me to the concept of speaking your life into existence. And if I'd never have met her, I wouldn't be here. And by here, I mean on this side of the microphone, in your ears right now. If I would have listened to that limiting belief that I couldn't afford to buy a house, I wouldn't be living out my freaking dharma, empowering women from all over the world to learn how to love the shit out of their lives. Possibility. So as we wrap up this episode, let me leave you with a few questions to ask yourself. Most importantly is, what is your story? What is the story that you are telling yourself about your life? Are you telling yourself that you're stuck, that you're broke, that you're invisible, that you can't, that they won't, that it'll never? Tony Robbins always says something like, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of questions that you ask. So what questions are you asking about creating the life that you want to live? If I had a magic wand and I could give you whatever it was that you wanted in life, what would that be? What would that look like? And if you don't have the narrative going on in your mind where you believe it's only a matter of time, it's only a matter of time before your dreams come true in your life. If you don't have that narrative, if you don't believe that, then it's time to get really, really, really curious about why. It's your story. It is your story. This is your story. You are the author of your own story. So let's make it happily ever after. I hope this episode got your wheels turning and showed you just how powerful you are. I would invite you to take 30 seconds and tap subscribe to this podcast. When you subscribe to the podcast, then rest assured you will never miss an episode. And in no time, spinning your wheels will be a thing of the past. Thank you for listening and subscribing. And if you enjoyed this episode, it would mean the absolute world to me if after you subscribed, you jumped on over and left me a 5-star review, and better yet, a written review. I am on a mission to let every mom and stepmom know that you can create the life of your dreams. And I need your help to change the world. The world needs us. Thank you so much for subscribing and leaving me a 5-star review. I will see you next week. For more behind the scenes action and to get really up close and personal with me and our beautiful step family, jump on over to Instagram and follow me at The Step Queen. Don't be shy, send me a DM, tag me in your posts, tag me in your stories, let me know what you're up to and what about the podcast has been blowing your mind. I cannot wait to get to know you better, and Instagram is my jam. I love you so much. I love you so much. Make it rain, girlfriend.